Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm excited to have with us Jeff Cohen. I know some people are still getting loaded into the system. I see our head count ticking up. My name is Deanna Haas. I am the SVP of growth for sold.com. A lot of you guys have seen me as you've entered our network, and so glad to be seeing a lot of you guys again, joining another piece of our speaker series. And so I am really excited to announce a special guest with us, Jeff Cohen. And so what's really exciting about Jeff and why I like having people like him on our calls is Jeff is a Tom Ferry coach. He's a speaker. And so that alone comes with a lot of accolades and a lot of credit to it. But I think bigger than that, what he does beyond just coaching is he actually is still an active real estate agent. I think why that's so important when we host webinars like this is Jeff is somebody who is actively in a role that you guys are in. He is experiencing all the hurdles. He's having the stress of the NAR updates. He's trying to navigate what he's going to be doing with all these different changes. He is actively doing what you guys do. And so what Jeff's going to be really talking about today is setting appointments and working on listings. And a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to change a lot of their focus of their business into listings just because there are lots of changes happening. And everybody should have diversified ways of earning clients and earning business. Jeff, in his first year, I'm going to give him like the big head before I hand the microphone over to him. But in his first year of real estate, had 40 listings. And so that is an amazing, 40 listings or
40 home transactions.
40 transactions in his first year of real estate. And so all of you guys are active real estate agents. And so you know how impressive having 40 transactions is in your first year of real estate. So Jeff, before I make your head and your ego just really, really big, I'm going to hand the microphone over to you so you can teach everybody else how to do that, how to be a rock star, how to set appointments, how to really get their listings flowing, especially knowing that sold.com is giving out those appointments. We know it's not easy. And so please, I hand the microphone to you.
Thank you so much, Deanna. Everyone on here, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here. You're going to get your money's worth. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick here. So you'll be able to take a look. And here we go. So what are we here for? We're here for setting and keeping the appointment with online seller leads. So let's go ahead and begin. So for those of you who don't know who I am, it's like, why am I going to listen to this guy for the next X number of minutes? I'm from Missouri, and if you know anything about Missouri, it's the show me state. So I'm just going to show you who I am, and then you decide if you want to continue sticking around or not. So I'm from St. Louis originally, moved out to Kansas City for college, graduated in 2011. 2011 to 2016, did a bunch of corporate 9-to-5 jobs, hated every single one of them. So in 2016, what I did is I put my 2 weeks in, absolutely no backup plan. I said I'd rather be homeless than show up with what I was about to start doing at work. And I jumped into real estate head first in a city that I'm not from, with a bunch of recently broke college friends. And I'm a little bit more of an introvert, but you know what? I've grown. I can be a chameleon. I can be an extrovert. But nonetheless, I did approximately 40 homes my first year in real estate as a solo agent. From there, grew a small team, had a buyer's agent, had an admin, did that for a few years. I've got ADD. I'm all over the place. I got bored. I wanted a new challenge. The challenge I wanted was to become a master at the art of setting appointments. You know, I think as a real estate agent, and I'm sure you'd agree as well, one of the most challenging things, if not the most challenging, is where's the next opportunity going to come from? So I wanted to figure that out. I joined a large team here in Kansas City where I made phone calls for their agents. This team had about 40 agents. Approximately 600 to 800 homes any other year is the Edie Waters real estate team, if you happen to know them, and grateful for the opportunity there. So, for example, in 2022 for that team, I set 550 outbound ice cold appointments and 119 inbound lukewarm mixture buyer online seller lead appointments. So that's just a little bit about what I've done the last couple of years. And then recently, I do it all on my own right now. I set appointments for agents that I work with here in Kansas, Missouri. They go out on them. I'm averaging about 42 appointments each month over the last since 2022 year to date. With all that being said, like, does it even work? Yeah, the appointments I set does work. And you are gonna learn what I am doing. I'm not gonna hold back. So if that sounds good to you in the chat, go ahead and give a thumbs up. if that's okay, and I have permission to just not hold back and really get in the weeds, in the nitty gritty with the tools and tactics that I'm using. So yeah, it does work. 66 closed. Just in that example, I got a 5.4% appointment set to close ratio. So that's enough about me. This is all about you and how to significantly increase setting appointments. That's going to make your life so much easier as we go into the unknown the rest of this year and years to come. So, what is it that we're going to be going over today? It's quite a bit. We're going to start with mindset. We'll shift into how to have a proper intro, not just like, hey, just say this and you're good. No, it's here's a formula that you can take with other phone calls that you're going to have. We're going to go over an actual formula of how to crush objections, how to be setting the appointment, what that's going to look like, keeping the appointment. Because what good is it if you set an appointment but you don't go on it? It's no fun. And then we're going to shift and we're going to end with the 10 days of value. So that's what's going to be going down now. So let's keep going. Let's talk about mindset. So none of what I'm going to share with you means anything if you don't start with the right attitude. How do you have success like this? You have to put yourself in the game. In fact, you need to treat it like a game. And what I mean by that is you need to be present. You need to say before you start having these calls that there is no one better than you as the agent to help people. You have to get in that right mindset. If you knew that the best time to call was Wednesday between 4 to 6 because a bunch of studies said that was the case, but Wednesday came around and you had a bunch of fires and you're like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be all excited and happy because 4 o'clock is about to strike. Like that's prime time to set these appointments. You're not gonna perform that well. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, that's what the case is. You have to have the right attitude. So before making calls and working with inbound leads, you just want to visualize in the morning, like, okay, I picture myself. I'm gonna have some really good conversations. Like, yeah, it might seem a little corny, but have you done it? Have you tried it? Have you just given it a go? There's no cost, okay? It's free. Have you tried it just to see what happens to you? For example, talking about tools, how do you become effective with these conversations? You get a timer like this for 15, 20 bucks on Amazon. It's for little kids. It's for ADD like me, all right? And when the clock it turns away from being blue and it's all white, that's your session. That's your session of having conversations, of going outbound and doing it, talking with sellers. You know, you're not doing anything other than that during that time. But before you even start, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm willing to bet money that I will have at least one appointment set before that clock turns completely white. That's the attitude, that's the mindset, visualization that you need to adopt. And being present. Are you taking notes with a pen and paper with what the leads are saying? So when you get an inbound seller lead and they're telling you their hopes and dreams, what they're looking to do if they were to get the money, are you writing it down so that way throughout the rest of the conversation, you're able to repeat back what they're saying? You want the seller on the other line to think, you know what? There's something different about that funny guy, Jeff. Like, I like him. I can't put my finger on it. You're going to learn how to do that. That's the building the rapport. That's the repeating back what is being said to you and saying it again throughout the conversation. That's going to separate you from anyone else. Forget about being an agent, just anyone else that's selling on the phone. And again, if you don't want to be salesy, that's fine. What's your license say in the state that you're a real estate person in? It's a salesperson in some capacity. I would write this down. So the first job of a real estate agent is to sell the appointment. The second job is at the appointment, it's to sell your service, to help someone buy or sell, invest in real estate. So I'll say it again. The first job for us as agents is to sell the appointment. And the second job is at the appointment is to sell your service, to help someone buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If that makes sense, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. So lastly on here, we've got gamify. And I gave an example here of how to gamify by using a clock just like this. But in addition to that, what else can you do? Well, You can get in the right mindset by printing off how many appointments you want to set for the week. Here's a quick picture of houses. Check them off each time you set an appointment. That makes this kind of fun in a game, right? Okay. Are you tracking? You have an old school tracker like this. You don't have one? Find me on Instagram, send me a message. Happy to send you a copy. Might take me a day or two to get back to you, but nonetheless, are you tracking? Are you actually enjoying what you're doing? Because if you're not, then you're not being present. If you have a little bit of call reluctancy, get some headphones like this. So that way when you're making the calls, you're at work. Let's keep going. Intro, who you are, where you're from, why the heck are you calling? Let's start with who you are. So it's your first and last name for vulnerability. Hi, my name's Jeff Cohen. Where you're from, I'm a real estate agent with XYZ company. Don't assume people know Remax, Real, KW, wherever you're from. You know what happens if we assume. Tell people what your profession is and where you're from, and then why are you calling? We're going to go through that. So very simple way to have the conversation is you say, hi, Deanna. You get that yes, knee-jerk reaction. Yes, who's this? Hey, Deanna. It's like I'm fishing and I caught a fish. I'm kind of, reeling it back. I'm slowing down. I got you on the hook. I got you. You're the right person. Hey, Deanna. This is Jeff Cohen. I'm a real estate agent with XYZ Real Estate, and I'm going to go into why I'm calling. But let's talk about seller leads. So if you get a seller lead and they're inquiring about maybe I want a cash offer, they're clicking all over the place. How do you break through that and turn it into an easy conversation to get in the front door? Well, here's how you do it, and here's a couple examples. So if you, I see you there, Deanna. Did you have a question?
No, I was coming back on because I think I think everybody should have a notepad if they don't already, but I think this stuff is gold because all of these agents are in our network. And so the two most common leads that all of you guys are getting on this call are get a cash offer and find out what your house is worth. And so if you're looking for the exact success path, this is what you should be jotting down, screenshotting. We will be sending out the recording, but this is perfect information that ties into the sold.com world. So I'm super excited for this.
Absolutely. So we start off with hi in the first name or hey in the first name. If you go, hi, is this? Hi, am I speaking with? You're a telemarketer, forget it. It's already going south. Hi, Deanna. Hey, Deanna, get that yes, knee-jerk reaction. Then from there, who you are, where you're from. Hi, Deanna, this is Jeff Cohen. I'm a real estate agent with XYZ Real Estate. And I received, let me time out. So there's a lot of tonality. Like if I'm sitting down, my diaphragm is compressed. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that happens. Okay. The energy is not there. Are you, you want to be standing when they're doing this. They can't see you. So you want to be aware of how you're saying it, because let me tell you this, if there was just one script and one script only, we would all only use that one script, but there's not. So it's how it's delivered. And you want to be intentional. Everything that I just mentioned about gamifying, attitude, right mindset, being present. So with that, we're going to keep going. So hi, Deanna, this is Jeff Cohen. I'm a real estate agent with XYZ Real Estate, and I received your request for a cash offer on 123 Main Street. Did you also want to know what a retail offer may look like as well, or just the cash offer? Just the cash offer, Jeff. Okay, great. And I have a few questions about that. From what I see, it looks like it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's telling me a little bit more. So I'm going to go start talking about what that property is like, have them, confirm a few things. And, I could say something there. I've got another slide I'll show you, a flow, a pattern. So what's important to you is don't wing it. If you want good results, don't wing it. It's simple. Take some time block it for an hour. Think about the questions you want answered in order to go on an appointment. Write it out. Is your first question going to be how is it going to be if you're moving, are you paying cash or financing? People don't like to talk money right away. Like that type of question would be later on in this script. So really think about it and practice. I mean, there's so many people on here. If you know what, I didn't mention this, but in the chat, go ahead and put what market you serve, where you're from, how we can get in touch with you. If we ever have a referral, or if we're just looking for a script partner, please go ahead and put that in there. Best way, Instagram handle, phone number, email, whatever it is. Let's connect here while I'm talking about it. So going back to this, that's a great intro. Another option would be, hi, Deanna. Yep, who's this? Hey, Deanna, this is Jeff Cohen. I'm a real estate agent with XYZ Real Estate. I received a request for a cash offer at 123 Main Street. Did you also want to know what a retail offer may look like as well? Or are you not interested in knowing what that price may be? It's curiosity, right? No. Retail offer, what's that? What's that difference? Hey, great question. And then it's going to allow you to go into the conversation where you want to take it. Because I think, in my experience, and maybe for you as well, it's kind of like people are just kind of stubborn. Look, I just want the cash offer, but they don't know what they don't know. If they could get more money and it isn't as cumbersome as they might think by working with you and going on the market, well, they should know that. It's a win for you. It's a win for them. It's a win for everyone all around the place. So, two examples that can make that conversation of, oh gosh, they're expecting a cash offer. I got to call them. How do I figure this out? Well, give them an either or type of close. Would you want to just know the cash offer, or would you want to know the retail offer? Retail is MLS for those that don't know. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up in the chat. I'm always a big fan of an either or close, not just like in this intro, but when you do a proper close at the end, and share with you a few more examples. So let's keep going. Got some good thumbs up. Awesome, awesome. So again, like, what's your flow? Where are you going to take the conversation when they say, yeah, you know what, we're just looking for a cash offer? Great. Let me build some rapport. Let me repeat back. So tell me a little bit. It looks like to me, and I could have wrong info. I want to be vulnerable. Okay, I could be wrong. Is it 3-bedroom, 2-bath? Is that right? This is a time when you can assume. People love to correct you. So as you're going through the conversation, you do have permission to assume some things, because they will correct you and it will allow the conversation to keep moving forward with the good flow. So talking right off the bat about the property, that's easy. Okay. Gives you a chance to repeat back what they're saying to build that rapport and match their tonality. Can I ask, what has you wanting to make a move? Okay. Finding out a little bit of motivation, a little bit about timing, who all is involved. Do you guys want to meet with both decision makers, or just one and then come back another time? So the question is, if you find out where they're wanting to move, oh, that's awesome. Is it just you or anyone else involved with making the move from here to, there? Okay. So you want to figure out your flow of what that is. So then every call is the same. Every time you get an online seller lead, for example, you have a go-to of how that structure would go. Moving on, let's go over crushing objections. Very simple, very, very easy formula for you guys to start implementing. And it starts off with agreeing with whatever the objection is. So, Deanna, if you're available, is
Yeah.
there an objection, just a simple one that might be common that people might be getting, and we can work through the objection with this formula together?
Yeah, I like the one that you mentioned. I was just looking for a cash offer.
Okay, so how you would do that is you'd agree. Look, yeah, awesome. I totally understand you're looking for a cash offer. I'm agreeing. I'm not being combative. Like, what's important about a cash offer? Like, I'm going to just agree. Hey, totally understand you're looking for a cash offer. That's step one. If that's good, give a thumbs up in the chat. I want to make sure everyone is comfortable with just step one of just simply agreeing and acknowledging. That is the first part of it. So second step is you want to redirect the question, or you want to redirect where this is going. So step two could be an example of, let me ask you this. Have you thought about this? Can I get your take on this? What's your thought on? So if we do step one and two together, it's, hey, I totally understand you want a cash offer. Let me ask you this. Simple. That was step one. And step two, if that's good, another thumbs up in the chat. So again, examples to redirect would be, let me ask you this. Can I get your thought on this? What's your take on this? What's your thought on this? Very simple. They're all similar. And then step three would be asking the next question where you want to take the conversation, or going in for the close if it's appropriate and you see fit. So, hey, I totally understand you want to get a cash offer. Let me ask you this. If you knew it was possible to get significantly more money, and it really wouldn't be that much more challenging than accepting a cash offer, would you want to know what that could look like? That's it. So now we're not talking about solely the cash offer. We're talking about this other thing, because I took the objection I didn't go down a mile deep with that. I acknowledged it, I redirected, and I took the conversation where I wanted to take it.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think I think a lot of people get discouraged because they do hear that probably most common is, oh, I only wanted a cash offer. Now they're thinking, well, then they don't want me. When a lot of people, like you made a statement of they don't know what they don't know. And so you have to understand also why were they looking for a cash offer? If you've seen cash offer ads or commercials, they make it seem really sexy. And so the consumer just saw the high level, but there was no disclaimer that said, get a cash offer and close your house in 10 days, but also we're only going to pay you 80% of your house's value at best. That little disclosure isn't there. So they think that they're going to get a cash offer in hand in 10 days. That's going to be the highest and best full market value. And so I think by diving in and asking a little bit more, you just get a little bit more information from them and offer alternative options to them to just be open to, would you be interested in understanding if you could make more money learning about those options?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just giving them another thing to think a little bit more about that can just totally open up the conversation to where now you're going over to meet with the Joneses, to give more of a proper listing appointment. Or we've all been on those little funny-ish listings, but they're more open to the idea of, okay, I understand there's another option. Let me just meet with this guy Jeff and see what that is in person. So let's keep going. So setting the appointment, very, very so simple. I love this. You're gonna love it too. You're gonna okay. All right. Setting the appointment. How do you do that so you're not like all over the place? Oh gosh, how do I figure this out? Let's just make this so streamlined. So you start off with weekdays or weekends. Why? Because everyone is free either on a weekday, a weekend, or both. And then from there, you shrink it down to morning, afternoons, or evenings. And from there, you give 2 days and times with what matches from what you said previously. So it makes it very simple. So I said, hey, Deanna, you know what works best to meet, weekdays or weekends? And you said weekdays. I'd say, okay, great. Morning, afternoons, or evenings. You said evenings. Awesome. You know what? I've got time Tuesday at 6, or would Thursday at 5:30 be better? That's it. Very, very simple. Again, you're talking to an online seller lead, easy to use. If you're not talking to a seller lead, you're just trying to schedule, when pest control is coming out to your house, what works best with your company, weekdays or whatever it is. So it's universal, but it just makes it so clean, so simple, so easy to flow with. Okay, so keeping the appointment. Because what good is it if we set the appointment, but we don't even go on it? Are you tracking the number of appointments you set to how many you've gone on, what your kept ratio is? I think I know it's underrated and most people don't. So I encourage you to do it. And there's real magic once you start doing it because you'll see what you can improve on. Here's a simple example, and I want you to copy what I'm doing because I have great success with this. And I know you will as well. So let's say I set the appointment. What I'm going to do before I fully get off the phone is I'm going to let that online seller lead know what to expect. First of all, I'm going to forward pace the conversation when I end the call, so I'm leaving on a high note. So Deanna, hey, you know what? I'm excited to come by Thursday at 5:30 to meet you, take a look at your house, share with you, what cash could look like, what retail could look like as well. But I'm super excited. It really sounds like you have a beautiful house. What I'm going to do is when we hang up here in the next 2 hours, I'm going to send you an email that's got my information. It's got a picture of me, put a face to the name. Don't worry, I'm a real person. We are in 2024, but I like the offer. So what's the best email address? And I'll send it to you. Now I got your email. Great. And then what I also will do is before I come out, day before, again, at this time out, if this is set a couple days in advance, obviously it's the next day, you wouldn't say this. But also what I'm going to do is the day before, 24 hours, I'll let you know just a quick friendly reminder. I'll give you a quick call or just send you a friendly text. Does that sound good to you? Puts everyone at ease. Everyone knows what's happening. As soon as I hang up, as soon as you hang up, that online seller lead now knows, okay, I should be on the lookout for an email from Jeff. I should be getting a phone call and or a text message the day prior, and I do know when Jeff is coming by. So you set these arbitrary goals that when you execute on that are so simple, you separate yourself from anyone else. No one does this. Okay. So think about it from that online seller leads point of view. They're like, okay, Jeff did send the email within 2 hours, like he said he would. It's a representation of working with Jeff and Jeff's company. All right. Day before the appointment, Jeff did call like he said he did, or he did send a text. He's doing exactly what he says he's going to do. There's something different about him. I live in 2024. Most people don't do what they say they're going to do in these different service professions. But here's someone that is. Okay, you're standing out. And it's easy because it's on your timeline. Magic and power isn't in the next 2 hours. It's when you can do it, but it's letting them know when it will be done, and you do it before that. Handwritten card, depending on the length of today versus the appointment. Hey, Deanna, this is Jeff. I guess for the handwritten card, it'd say, hi, Deanna. It was great speaking with you on Tuesday regarding your house. I'm really looking forward to stopping by, getting to meet you, taking a look at your house Saturday at 3. If you have any questions before I meet you, here's my number. Hope you're having a great day. Very simple. 2 business cards, one for them to keep, one to give away. Or if you want to do old school, I used to do magnets, people don't like to throw those away. Might stick around a little bit longer. Okay, so I went over what you do to increase your kept ratio, what you can be doing. It's sending that email, again, on your terms. And or, I didn't mention this. So when you get off the phone, if you want to do it as well, you can. You could send a text message just saying it was great speaking with you, or you could even do a video text just to put a face to the name right then and there. You don't have to. I'm a big fan of the email because in that email, you can say, if you're interested in what others have said about working with me, my company, click below, and it's taken them to all your awesome reviews, putting that seller at ease. So I am a fan of the email, and then have something similar to what I just said about where they can learn more about you and what it's like. So that way, this total stranger is not just showing up Saturday at 3. So are we good? Give me another thumbs up in the chat if this is all making sense so far. And with that day prior call and text, I'm going to make it easy for you. You don't need to think about what to do. I'm just going to give it to you if that's okay. Like what I use verbatim, you saw the numbers I had, vast majority have been used with this confirmation text. So I'm just going to give it to you. So on the next slide, on your computer, get ready just to take a screenshot. Here it is. And I want to explain to you what it is you are actually viewing here. So it's not confirming if I can still come by tomorrow. It's just confirming that you received the text message. So if you read it, it's, hi, first name. This is Jeff Cohen. We spoke a few days ago on the phone. I was calling to give you a friendly reminder about me stopping by at and the time to meet you and have a quick tour of your house. If you don't mind, can you please give me a call or text me back when you receive this? So the request is, can you give me a call or a text when you receive this? I just want confirmation you received my text message. I'm not asking about confirmation if tomorrow still works, because I have a pretty good idea what happens if you ask, hey, this is Jeff. We talked a few days ago on the phone. I'm planning on stopping by tomorrow at 2:30. Does that still work for you? How easy is it for you to text back without even having to have a conversation on the phone? No, I'm sorry, something came up. Okay. This works beautifully. I've tested this, and here's what else I tested. Do you confirm the day of for the appointment or the day prior? I tested this. You definitely do it the day before the appointment, not the day of. So let me just save you the hassle of having to figure it out on your own. Let me give you a couple more appointments that are going to be kept by just running with this. You confirm the day prior, not the day of. All right, let's keep going. So the 10 days of value, let's say you don't get a hold of them. You call the online seller lead, they don't pick up. Well, how do you make your life easier? You automate it. Do you have a campaign in place with the CRM that you're using? And if you don't, you should be using one that's going to be contacting them on your behalf. Well, what do I send? You always come from contribution. It's not annoying if you come from contribution. It's helpful. Why is it that you might hear, oh gosh, okay, this person sends an email every single week? Well, what are they sending? It's something of value. That's what's being sent. They're sending a deal of the month. They're sending a market update. They're sending maybe a coupon or shouting out a local restaurant or service. They're sending out, maybe a newsletter about the free and upcoming things in the city. It's all comes down to, if it's coming from contribution, it's not annoying. So going back to, like, how do you put this thing together? uh, Make it easy for you. Could you send out emails? Could you send out text messages? Could you go on social media and friend them? Now they're in your web, so if you post something about real estate, they may happen to see it. Phone calls, of course, or mail. Could one of the steps be, when you get an online seller lead, for example, hey, John, this is Jeff. We haven't been able to connect. I'm excited to talk to you about your request for a cash offer. Please give me a call at your convenience at this time. Business card. Could you do that? That could be one of the steps. And okay, well, what if I send that out and I talked to them before the card? Well, call it out. Hey, by the way, I know we're able to connect the last couple of days. I went ahead and just sent you a card. You'll get it in the mail. It's got my business card, so just be on the lookout if you get it. Okay, no problem. Easy. Do you have 50 cents? Do you have $1? Could you do that? Going to significantly increase the chance of that happening. Okay, so here's what we've gone over so far today. Mindset. We've gone over an intro of what you can be saying to online seller leads. We've gone over a formula of how you can be handling objections. We've gone over setting the appointment, and we can go deeper into this. We've gone over keeping the appointment, how to increase the chance, and we've gone over 10 days of value. So I want to pause here for a moment. What are some questions, Deanna, if you have some questions so far, or anyone in the chat?
I don't think I have any questions, but I would love to see, since again, everybody's in our network, I think let's make this a really frank conversation, right? Josh, you're somebody who has found success, or Jeff, you found success in working these leads. So people hit hurdles, right? They are frustrated with how the leads work when they get a cash offer request. So I think it'd be great to hear, again, in an honest manner, of what are you agents, as you guys are receiving your leads, whether it be from sold.com or other lead sources, and you reach out to them and you're trying to set that appointment, what hurdles are you guys running into when you're reaching out and you're making that first call? Or is your hurdle that you aren't reaching out and making the first call, and through Jeff's information, you guys are like, okay, I've now got down what I can do? Because that's the way I feel in a lot of cases, is that maybe some people just didn't have the roadmap to actually do it for themselves yet, right? They were maybe going into each call as a unique call. What I think you called out was, have a script, utilize that script, say the same thing over and over, get good at what you're saying. And then obviously, as you make more and more of these phone calls, you're going to continue to get better as you're going through it. Jeff, what did you traditionally see, like, as your expectations, right? Everybody, let's talk seller leads. Like, everybody wants to have every single lead that they get be gold. That's obviously not realistic. I wish that it was, for our own sake as well. But if you're receiving seller leads and you're calling them, what are your expectations like on conversion rates, and how many of those do turn into something? How long does it take?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables. It's really good questions. I mean, it goes along with the skill set to give, like, what to expect. I mean, for me, it's going to be totally different than someone that's brand new. But here's what I can tell you: to do the best that you can do, because that's all you can, is to have a plan in place. Have a layout of, if I'm going to meet with someone, what are the questions that I would want answered? And let's say you come up with 10 of them. Okay, based upon that, what would be a logical order, you know, and what would make it flow pretty nicely? And when you think you have it and it sounds good in your head, it's not going to sound good when you say it out loud. What you're going to do is find someone here in the group, because we all have a common interest of crushing these seller leads. And you're going to find someone in the group and say, hey, look, I was on the awesome webinar. I want to truly increase my skill set here. I want to dominate these online seller leads. They're easy. What do you know what to say? They're easy. Okay. There's no doubt about it. But you're going to role play and practice with them. They are going to take notes. So the way you get good at role playing is you say spend 15 minutes, you write down 3 things the other person did good and 3 things they can improve on. And that's how you make them constructive. Because they're like, all right, what do I do? I can call you up, Deanna, tell me, was it good? Was it bad? What do you think? Would you meet me? I don't know. That's what you do. That's the plan. You write down 3 things good, 3 things bad, and then you go back to work and you practice it again. But these online seller reads, they're simple in the sense that you're saying the same thing over and over again to them, but you have to have that conviction, first of all, that there's no one that can do a better job than you, and that you truly have something to share with them. Because if you're not confident, like imagine buying a car, you're not confident in that salesman, you might think, oh gosh, like, am I paying too much? Is that car a lemon? Is the new model coming out that's different that I don't know about? Like, I don't feel good. Well, the same thing with you on the phone. If you're not like, I don't really know, like, could they get more money for their house? Well, if you don't know that, it's going to come across that way if you ask, are you interested in knowing what the retail value may be? Just so you have that information. Well, if you really aren't comfortable, you're not going to be able to deliver it with confidence. So if it means taking a moment real quick to look up what the neighborhood's like and knowing, oh gosh, okay, they could probably get a pretty good price more than cash if the house is somewhat good, then you're going to be able to articulate with higher confidence. But going back to all this, getting away from I want a cash offer right off the bat is going to make this easy. Okay, it's not sticking with it. View it right off the bat that here's the objection. They're interested in a cash offer. Hey, Dana, I totally get you inquired about a cash offer. Would you have any thoughts at all about knowing what the retail price is and how that compares? Not saying it's for you, but would you just want to know what that difference is like and what it could mean for you and your bottom dollar?
Yeah, that's great. And then I don't know if you're going to be talking about this in any other slides, but one question I thought was a good one is obviously not everybody answers on the first call. So we can have all the right scripts and we can perfect everything. What has your cadence been like with number of calls that you're making out to people?
Yeah, so I'm a big proponent of you call, they don't pick up. I'm going to send a text message and it's going to be regarding, why I was calling. Hey, Deanna, this is Jeff Cohen. I'm real estate agent XYZ Real Estate. I got your inquiry about a cash offer. Ready to go over it with you. When can I give you a call? Well, am I buying it? Maybe. I might. Could you be a buyer? You're an agent, right? So you know the market better than people that aren't an agent. So could you end up being a buyer? Well, I don't have the money. Well, if you brought an opportunity to someone, do you think they might want to fund it? And then you get a piece of it in some capacity. Yeah. So you yourself could be a cash buyer if you think about it that way. Just because you have a title that you're an agent doesn't mean you have to sell retail pricing. It means you could buy it as well, or you do happen to know a group of investors, and here's the process to go over what that cash offer is. I'm ready to go over the cash offer with you. Well, what is it? Well, there's a few different ways. I might be a buyer myself, depending what you're looking for. However, if you want, to know what it is from true other investors, I can do that as well. And if you're curious what the retail value is, then I can share that to you as well. I mean, would you like to know all 3 options? Okay,
Yeah.
well, this is how you would know what they are. You and I will meet and I'll go over all 3 options. Well, Jeff, I don't want to waste my time. Look, I'm not in the business of wasting your time. I'm definitely not in the business of wasting my time. If I didn't think I had something valuable to share with you, then I wouldn't be suggesting this, but I am. So what works best for you and I to meet? Would it be on a weekday or on a weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And I think probably what some people get is I think you alluded to it. They want the offer right then and there. They don't want to waste time. Just tell me what the offer would be. And I think how do you approach that? And I would assume it's all about getting in front of them. I want to see your house. So I don't give you a low ball offer because we know that it's more important to get in front of them. But how do you typically handle something like that when they are trying to just give me the offer while I'm on the phone?
Yeah, I mean, if they're like, well, just tell it to me. Well, okay, I can tell it to you, but it could truly be more if I see the property. Is that something you're okay with losing money if that's the case?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to try to deflect it in some way. Okay, I didn't maybe totally follow the formula in that example. If you play this back and rewatch it, but the goal is like, look, I really don't want to give a number because what happens when you give a number? click, hang up, right? Like you're done. That's it. They got the number. So you want them to be thinking there's more to it. Well, how do you get more to it? You let them know. Fear of loss, right? Well, look, I can give you a number, but hate to tell you a number, and then if I see the house, I actually would have given you more and made a better win-win for everyone. I mean, would you be upset if that happened? So I'm going to sprinkle in what I'm doing here is I am at the very end, I'm sprinkling in some emotion. How would you feel? Would you be upset? What would you think? Okay, so because this is emotional, we're logical, like, hey, the house is worth this because of this and this comp and XYZ, whatever. Okay, all right. But the homeowner is not logical. This is where their memories are. This means a lot to them. They're on a different planet. So recognize that. And how do you recognize it? You can't fight logic with emotion. Get on the same level as them. So you can incorporate some emotion at the end of the questions. And that's an example of what I just did. Look, I can give you a number. What I'd hate is if I saw the house in person, I'd be willing to give you more. You make more. I'm fine paying more because it's worth more if I were to fix it up, or if I brought you a cash offer from an investor I work with. But wouldn't you be upset if you were leaving money on the table? And by the way, redirect, I actually can be out your way later this week or over the weekend. You just tell me when it's convenient, and then I'll truly give you what you could expect with cash. And while I'm there, I'll also just give you the information for retail and what that looks like, just so you know what it is. And you won't second guess if selling cash was the wrong move.
Yeah. And one thing to call out just based off of some of the chats is this session with Jeff wasn't supposed to be solely centered on sold.com. It tied in really, really well with sold.com's offering. And so, Jeff was here to talk about setting appointments and keeping appointments, whether or not you've received them from sold.com, your other lead sources, or you're just generally cold calling people. One of the things, because the questions are coming up in chat, is one of the things that we are coincidentally talking about are how to approach a cash offer type of lead. But sold.com does not solely provide you with a lead that is only accepting it or expecting a cash offer. So I'm going to talk about this in a second with Jeff once you kind of go through your material, but I wanted to highlight this just based off of the chat messages of sold.com is running 2 different type of ads to generate consumer interest. Get a cash offer on your property and find out what your house is worth. One of the reasons why we we've talked a lot about the cash offer is that's our highest converting ad type. When I say highest converting, that means those are the people that are converting the quickest to selling their property with an agent that we recommend. And the reason is because they're basically telling you, I'm looking to sell my house, and you're now just trying to figure out when and with who. And so I know there were some questions in there of, is everything going to be solely a cash offer?
Okay. You're seeing my dance. Sorry. Okay, that was like way too long. Usually it just takes like half a second. I'm back. All good.
But yeah, so sold.com stuff, as we think about sold.com stuff, you guys are getting stuff that is, can I get a cash offer? And then a lot of the feedback that we get is, I'm getting a lead that says I get a cash offer. And so what this is supposed to help people is how to approach those objections. Because if I'm honest from the sold.com angle, the most common thing I hear from an objection or frustration is, I'm getting cash offers and that's all they want. And so then I ask the agent, well, what do you do to still make that an option for yourself? And they say nothing. They say nothing. I get off the phone. All they wanted was a cash offer. And so this is why, as Jeff was going to be talking about, this piece of just convert or getting appointments for yourself was so important for me. Was I wanted to make sure that nobody had a short-sighted view on what cash offer leads can do for you. Am I saying that every single consumer that you talk to that was looking for a cash offer is going to be like, oh yes, let me know the retail price because I want to know and I want to sell my house with you? Absolutely not. Again, we wish that was going to happen. But we do know that people that are requesting cash offers convert at a super high rate. And what I also want to make sure that everybody is empowered with is information to be able to, a talk track to be able to actually bring to the table and not just get off the phone with that person when they're reaching out to them, because there is a ton of opportunity for you. But as it relates to any of the chatter in the chat, Sold.com specifically gives you request a cash offer options where we're connecting them with an agent to understand their additional options they have available to them, as well as find out what your house is worth options. And so far, what we've talked about is just on a cash offer approach.
Yeah, the home value, if you think about it, there's home value for getting a home equity line of credit. The bank's going to send someone out specifically for that to give a value. The county is going to have a home value for taxes. An agent can give a home value for going on the retail market. An investor can give a home value if they were to buy it and make it an investment property. So there's multiple home values, and finding out from the lead, well, hey, what's my home worth? I see it on Zillow, and there's something to it. Yeah, I'm happy to give you the home value. And just so I understand, are you curious because of refinancing? Are you curious for taxes, to find if taxes gone up? Have you thought about making a move? What type of home value would be most valuable to you? Now, if I come off right off the bat, hey, I saw you were curious about a home value, assuming you want to sell your house, when can I come by? They'll hang up faster than you can, even say all that. Okay. So use to your advantage the multiple different types of home values that a lead could be interested in. And don't right off the bat talk about making a move. Let them, be a little bit more intrigued, or break down the walls slowly. Don't just go right into it with them. And that's a great approach that I've been a fan of. And when you come from curiosity and you're like vulnerable, you're not being some cocky, arrogant person on the phone that maybe they've had a bunch of those other phone calls. You're right away standing out. Like, you're kind of, I don't know if I have the right number. Like, you're being very you're asking a lot of questions. That it really will make that conversation go further. But all this is just an objection right off the bat. When you find out what their true goal is, if it is to move, then it's going down that path of that call being the same exactly. You start with this, and then when you find this out, you go to step 2, and step 2 is this question, and forget about what the initial ad said or whatever it is. You've got your own flow. You're just taking it from the initial to get on your track, to get on your flow. And it's not, again, that there's one and only one way of doing this, because if there was, we would all do it. It's making it your own. So, of course, being a coach, I help in that capacity. But this isn't rocket science. It's just a formula. And then all you say is bring on the leads. Let me talk to as many as I can.
Yeah, numbers game.
Yeah. And then numbers are more fun when you actually have the right mindset, when you know what your script is, when you know how to increase that appointment set to kept ratio, and you've got a plan in place to convert them. If you don't pick up, then it really turns into fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Deanna, what stands out most that you think would be of importance to, people that, from your experience, do work online leads that I've shared?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, this is really good content. I think it got a lot of great questions coming through. And, one of the things I wanted to call out is I see all the chats. A lot of people said, hey, it would be great when we get this lead to know if this person requested a cash offer or if they requested a home valuation. I hear you. I agree with you. It's actually on a roadmap right now that hopefully is releasing soon, because I definitely understand and agree. What I would advise you to do is to be reaching out more from the home valuation approach and have them correct you and say, no, actually, I was just looking for a cash offer, and then pivot to your cash offer approach versus starting with your cash offer approach. The other thing I wanted to call out is some people said, well, sometimes I don't have a cash offer that I can take. So in the coming weeks, Sold.com is actually going to be announcing some partnerships with some nationwide cash offer companies, because every single agent should start to build really whether you want to call it a toolbox, a toolkit of services that they can offer to their clients, so that you can be a one-stop shop for people, right? And so if that person really is dead set on a cash offer, you should be able to have the ability to provide that to them. And through these partnerships, we're not expecting that you guys are just going to pass a lead over and not make any money off of them. We actually are going to be announcing some partnerships that will pay you a 3% commission if you take your client that is interested in a cash offer to them. So you're not losing out on any of your commission. So look out for that for all of our sold.com agents. It's something that we're working on, and you guys should start to see that stuff come over in email soon. Because again, everybody should be working to have that information there. But Jeff, I think that this is all really good. I think the biggest thing that I took away is have a script. Don't just wing it. Make sure that you know what you're saying to these people, right? And even if it is that approach of, hey, Jeff, this is Deanna calling from 123 Brokerage. I saw you came online requesting a home valuation. I wanted to reach out and just learn a little bit more about you. They cut you off immediately and say, no, I want a cash offer, right? Because no one's friendly. Everyone jumps down your throat as soon as you're talking. So already have the mindset and expectation to put on our vests of armor that we're going to probably have a little bit of snarky people on the other side of the phone. And then that's when you can pivot instantaneously, right? But you need to have your scripts up and ready, because otherwise, as soon as you start to stutter and stagger, if you're like, oh, sorry, sold.com doesn't give me the lead information. They don't care what sold.com is. They didn't care that sold.com didn't give you the lead information. They just want what they want, right? So you should be able to seamlessly be like, oh, so sorry about that. No problem. Yeah. So you're looking for a cash offer. Are you also interested in understanding what a retail offer would look like, right? Without hesitation, a smooth transition into what that could be. And so some of the, obviously, like I said, I've been looking at the chats and wanting to understand and answer all of your questions. So I'm going to share a screen really quick because this ties into different things that you guys have asked. So as I mentioned, we run most commonly 2 different types of ad: get a free home valuation and find out and get a cash offer. Like I said, we are working on being able to pull over into your portal which of those leads are which. But I would say if you don't have that information, go in with the find out what your house is worth approach. As we talk about expectations, I mentioned everybody wants instant gratification, and seller leads are very different than buyer leads. A lot of people are very used to working buyer leads that have different conversions, different expectations. Seller leads are very different because very rarely, unless there's financial distress, does somebody wake up one day and say, I want to sell my house, right? People are thinking right now, my kids are going to graduate from high school next year. We don't need this big of a house. I wonder what we could make from it, right? And they're starting to think about that today. So what you're seeing on the left-hand side of my screen where it says actual expectations is, and I shared this when you guys originally onboarded into our network, but I think it's good to bring up and revisit, is about 20% of the people that our concierge team interacts with and sets up an appointment to meet with an agent wind up listing their property within 1 month of that interaction. So we have an integration with the MLS that tells us when these people are transacting, because it's important for us to know if the leads that we're handing out actually are going off to do something. Because if they're not, guess what? We're wasting a ton of money as a company. We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on leads. And if none of these people who are requesting home valuations or cash offers ever go on to sell their home, we have no business. So we really have to track our analytics to understand, are we paying for good leads? And so I think that's where, again, expectations come down to a lead should not be deemed good if they're ready to do something right then and there. 41% of the people we connect with do something at the year point, and this number is actually outdated. 78% do something at the 3-year point. And so think about that. Think about the people that are in your sold.com portals right now. Think about that 41% of those people have the potential to list their property within a year. And now it's making sure that it's you, right? So figuring out how do you implement what we talked through today? How do you call those people? How do you have dynamic conversations with them? How do you have your scripts? But also keeping your follow-up in place so that when they are ready to do something, that you've set yourself apart. You had those cards, you had those text messages, you did something different than what every agent has potentially done for them, because they've worked with an agent, they own a home. So unless they bought that house completely on their own without the help of an agent, they have worked with an agent in the past, and there's a reason why they're not working with them again, right? So this is an area for you guys to set yourself up and set yourself apart. The other comment that I saw in chat was, this is all fine and dandy, but I'd like sold.com to send me some leads. And so I want to remind everybody how we assign our leads out, because again, yes, we can give you all the different tools and resources to be successful, but if you don't have the leads already, then you can't use them anywhere. How sold.com sends their leads out is based off of how you're ranked within each one of your zip codes. So as you guys go into your portals, you guys will be able to see how you're ranked within each one of the zip codes that you guys have put yourself on the list for. So if you go in your portal, go to profile, go to service areas, you will see that, just like in my screenshot, what what your ranking is within that zip code. Every time we get a lead, that is the order that you are in to receive that lead. That rank is determined by how you compare to the other agents who have also added themselves to that zip code. So if your rank is 12, for example, if I have a lead in 90210, I feel like if you are quoting 90210, then you are probably grew up in the 80s, 90s, and you watched the show. So yes, if you are selling 90210 or you want to be in that zip code, then you are 10 and you're ranked as 10. What that's going to mean is you are the 10th agent to have the opportunity to claim that lead. Every time I get a lead in 90210, I'm going to text agent 1. If they don't respond, I'm going to go to agent 2. If they don't respond, I'm going to go to agent 3. So if you're 10, you are reliant on 9 other agents saying no to that referral or not responding to our text message for you to have the opportunity to claim it. So you have a few different options there. One is you can hold out hope that happens for you, right? That you hope that 9 other agents or whatever your ranking is, that those number of agents don't take the referral. 2 is you can do something that's called guaranteed display. Some of you guys may have heard of this before. Some of you guys may have already be participating in it. It's changed quite a bit if you've been in our network for some time. So the biggest thing that it benefits you from a rank perspective is it's going to boost your rank into the top position. So instead of being 10th in that example, you're now going to be the first agent that gets the opportunity to take that lead every single time. So now for those folks who are saying, I'm not getting any leads, or maybe you're unhappy with the volume of the leads that you've had, this would be something to take advantage of. The other option or the other benefit is you get 2 types of leads from sold.com. One is I've set an appointment. Do you want it? The other is concierge hasn't made contact with them. Here's the contact details. This is where you can implement Jeff's information of how to call them, what your approaches should be, what your follow-up should be. If you close a lead that sold.com did not set up an appointment for, you will pay absolutely no referral fee on that. And so I just had a conversation with somebody, actually one of our reps, who the agent was closing a $495,000 deal and would have ordinarily, if they were not guaranteed display, they would have paid us a 35% referral fee on that. Because he owned guaranteed display, he was paying us nothing because he sponsored that zip code. So that is a huge benefit for people. Is it gives you the leads that you have been missing out on because your rank was too high. It eliminates the referral fee if you're just being passed the contact details. And then another comment I saw a couple times was, I'm only getting a name and an address for the leads. If you're only getting a name and an address, that contact details is reserved for our zip code sponsors. So this is something that you can optionally do to take control of things. The real estate industry is changing. If you are only doing buyer leads today and you're not investing on the seller side, it's time to diversify a little bit and just make sure you have yourself well covered. I saw somebody comment in here that, when I mentioned that we offer leads that people requesting a home valuation or requesting a cash offer, and they mentioned a company that said, it's just like this company. You're right. Any company that tells you that they're not running an ad that says get a home valuation for seller leads is probably having a fib, because would every company love to run an ad that says, if you're selling your house, click here? 100%. Unfortunately, that company would not have any sustainability because they wouldn't generate enough leads. Consumers are too passive in their approach. So any company who's generating seller leads at the very minimum is running a get a free home valuation. And then some companies are also running that get a cash offer approach as well. If sponsoring zip codes is something that you guys are interested in, for the webinar, we do offer you guys your basically your welcome discount. So when you guys first joined our network, we gave you exclusive pricing for the first 24 hours. we're bringing it back for the next 24 hours. So this gives you the ability to buy $55 zip codes. That means that every zip code that you buy breaks down to a cost of $55 each per month. If you want to take advantage of that, you can do so by clicking on the link that's in the pop-up that I just shared with you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat too if people can't see that pop-up. It'll also be sent out to you after this, or if you're on a computer, you can scan the QR code as well. But that is something that you guys can take advantage of, and that will, again, unlock all these different benefits. Get you leads that you guys have probably been missing out on so far, but then also it'll put you in a position to not pay a referral fee when sold.com does not set the appointments for you. So does it work? Yes. Do you need proper expectations? Yes. Top of funnel sellers. Not, if you guys get lucky and get a lead that's ready to sell their home right away, please consider that luck and understand most of your leads, no matter where you're getting them from. And Jeff, you can feel free to chime in about that if you have any different opinions, but most of your leads that you buy online are going to be top of funnel. Average conversion times that we see are about 9 months. Follow-up is key. And most people will tell you they're just curious. Don't get scared off by somebody telling you they're just curious. They're really just scared that you're going to push them into something that they're not ready to do yet. No one likes a pushy salesperson. So that is what you just want to really make sure of, is that whether you guys are spending money with sold.com, whether you're spending money on any other lead site, have the proper expectations. If you ever have a sales rep tell you that these leads will be ready to convert right away, run as fast as you can, because it doesn't work that way on any different type of site. I've been in and around lead generation space for quite some time, and expectations are so key into what you're doing. Jeff, I appreciate everything that you offered today. I know I went a little bit over today, but I think you brought a lot of good information. I think that there's a lot of great stuff that people can take into their sold.com leads. Hopefully everybody goes back into their portal and starts to go make some phone calls and reach out to those different clients that they've had sitting in there. With a seller lead, it's never too late, because most of these people are 9 months out anyway, right? And so if somebody did call them 6 months ago, a month ago, they probably haven't followed up with them since. So your leads are not stale. Go reach out to them now. Go use all the information that Jeff brought to the table today. Jeff, before I let our audience go, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, I mean, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, my goal is there's just maybe one thing and one thing only that you could take away from today's webinar that you can implement in your business, rewatch it in the future, take something else away. But at the end of the day, you have to be proactive and you have to go after new clients. Do you want buyers? Do you want sellers? Okay. I mean, it's up to you to decide. And if you could find a way to go after sellers, make it easy, and you'll learn how to actually convert them, then you're not going to, you got it made. You could still continue working for yourself. And it's not just necessarily like real estate. Like, you have the gift. You truly learn how to go after new business and whatever you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Keep filling up that pipeline and don't give up. It's really easy. It can be discouraging. But just understand it's the nature of the game. I can promise you that when Jeff had his 40 transaction in his first year, that he probably worked his butt off to get to that. It wasn't just something that magically happened.
Yeah, what I was doing was 20 contacts a day, Monday through Friday. So roughly 100 people that don't know me, I'm asking, do you want to sell a house?
Yeah. And most people, hold yourself accountable to it, right? Again, there's going to be some days you don't want to do it. Gamify it. Give yourself a treat after you've X'd out the different things. But do something to hold yourself accountable to that. Because at the end of the day, like you said, Jeff, it's not rocket science. It really just comes down to figuring out your process and then truly holding yourself accountable to it. And I think if you have the right expectations, like anything, right? If I want to lose weight, I can't just go to the gym once and be like, why don't my pants fit any looser? Otherwise, it's not going to work, right? I have to have repetition. You can be upset if you've been going to the gym now and for a year and you haven't had your pants fit any looser. But if you're doing that after your first attempt, it's not the time to complain. It's just the time to work a little bit harder. Thank you guys so much, Jeff. Thank you so much for being on the call with us. I really appreciate it. Everybody, we will be sending out the recording for this webinar. Jeff had some great scripts in there so that you guys can take those. Reminder that promo for the $55 zip codes does end tomorrow. So if you do want to buy those zip codes, fill out that form that I sent over in the chat as well as you can click on that in the little pop-up that came up for you guys. But thank you guys. Happy selling. I look forward to working with you guys again. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Bye.